Shalom, brother and sister truth seekers. Just a quick recap of the data that came in for today, the 21st. It doesn't look like there's any game changers. I think it still appears. Well, there was one witness that came in that looks like they confirmed the straight line for the 20th on the west coast of America. Just waiting for confirmation on what time his first and last points of the day were. But I guess a couple people were collecting today, and it seems like we're confirming the post-equinox curve for today. So we'll take a quick look at that data. But yeah, this brother, and it kind of, I'm going to open up the video actually that Danon tracked down and found. He's like looking for all the data he can find, and he found this. And this looks like it's some kind of a pretty large following. I mean, I recommend checking out this video that talks about a lot of stuff in there. I don't know if I don't agree with everything, but I'm passionate. I'm happy to see they are passionate about the sundial. And I mean, there was like a chat through the video, and it seems like a lot of people were like all over this, and he seemed to be doing a very detailed, meticulous, and good job at collecting his data. I don't know if he's been doing it for a while, or it seemed like he was pretty experienced, but it seemed like a really good data set. He's using drywall, looks like board. Um, and yeah, if I can just confirm what time the first and last points of the day were for him, I'd say that potentially sounds like another solid data set. So stay tuned for more on that. Aside from that, there were a few people who came in with some updates. No other major solid witnesses other than that. So I guess I'm just going to talk about my data from today, and then we had one other truth seeker in central United States. So I finally had a full day of sun today. I've been trying for the past few days, and I just get clouded out halfway through the day. But I was able to do the boards, and I was able to also take more pictures of the sun with my solar filter. And I think I'm seeing the post-equinox curve. I want to show you a couple interesting things about that to keep in mind. Ooh, more pictures open than I remember having open. I think, oh, that must be from last night even. This was what I wanted to see right here. Okay, so this is my data, 10 hours of data, and these are points P, 8 a.m. to 6:40 p.m. So a little more than 10 hours, but you can see these points are coming off the line, and now we're seeing like that bow shaped, like the rainbow. It's either the smiley face pre-equinox or it's the rainbow post-equinox. So that was a pretty good spread of data, and that looked pretty convincing. And then I had two other boards, and when I pulled this one, pretty much the same amount of time, but these midday points looked really close. You can see they're slightly off the line, but they were really close, and at first I was like, what? Um, but I want to take a closer look at the last board, because they were even closer. And when I first saw this, it's like, oh man, they are right on there. What went wrong? But I want to point out, look how close they are. They were slightly, this one kind of looks like it's just, this one looks like it was slightly off the line, just slightly. But I want to point out to you how much it can make a difference the direction you wrap the string around your pins. These are very fine pins, and this is a very fine thread. But look how close it is to the base of this, and it almost makes me think, oh, good gracious, it kind of looks like the straight line was today. What's up with that? But I pulled the line again a second time, and I turned the wrap around the other way, so the wrap's gonna hook around that way. Let me see here. And now look, when I did, and again, very fine pin, very fine string, but now there's clearly a gap here, and it looks more like the data set that I was looking at from my door sundial, but the rainbow pattern. But so but really, so that's something to keep in mind. I like pulling a string for sure, because sometimes I don't. You just never know what's going on when you add a line like after the fact in the computer software. Like, cameras have fisheye lenses and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know what kind of funky curves might be going on when we're dealing with a photo uh, in Photoshop or whatnot. So I do like pulling an actual string on the data itself to see where things land. But just keep in mind, like, you saw how close it was. It was right on it, depending on which way I wrapped the around the pin. But in reality, the true line should be not wrapped up high or wrapped up low, but it should be going right through this point. Some people, I think, actually maybe get around this issue by just pulling the first pin of the day out and the next pin of the day out, and simply holding that string right through the point, like they're holding it like with their fingers like beyond on each end. Then the string is going straight through the point. And so in reality, like, this really should have been somewhere halfway between this close and this close. Like, it is, so it I think it should have been like maybe halfway, like right at where the tips of my fingers are on here. But yeah, I think they were lifting off the line a little. But just something I noticed a little closer this time and wanted to mention to keep in mind as food for thought. I wanted to mention the pictures I took as well. This just has been a roller coaster for me, and I got really excited when I took the pictures for today, because I could almost I thought I turned off all the auto photo resizing garbage, and I've been having some pretty consistent pictures over the past couple days, and today was just the third day I was gonna experiment with it. And the sun was out and I was able to get these pictures. And even as I look at it, I got even more excited. I'm like, oh, look at that. I think I can see like a slight, I can see the slight curve. And when you're looking up at the sun like this, I don't know, I think it's kind of a mirror image of what you see on the board, something, I think, because as I look up in the sun, I'm looking south from West Virginia, and I know that that is the shape that the sun's going to start taking in the sky as I look up. Like, it's going to start to hook more and more in this orientation, looking at it like a smiley face. But I think it's kind of opposite. But anyway, I'm not going to hang my hat on that. It's just experiment. I was just noticing it. I was kind of like, oh, cool, something to keep in mind. But then I decided to take all this data and drag it into a comparison photo with the 2 days before that I collected, and it's way up here. And this was literally the last thing I did tonight before I was going to hang it up. And I just pulled them in, copied and pasted, made them transparent, and drug them up into the corner. And all of a sudden, I see this right at the last step of the thing. It's like, oh, great. So I don't know what's going on, but obviously some kind of photo resizing garbage is still happening. So I don't know. It seems like it was okay for these 2 days, but this is out there. And then I wanted to show one more thing. Like, so then this is the actual spreadsheet. And I inserted, I have a tab for each day that I've been doing the data. And so I copy and pasted everything from here into this tab to combine everything. And that's when it came in with this blue line much smaller than this. Something is clearly wrong. And so what I did was I then inserted directly into this tab the photos, and that's what this purple line is. The purple is really the same as the blue, but I just brought them in straight to this spreadsheet. And even when I did that, they are a different size. Like, you can see one of the pictures here is sticking out. It's not the same height, it's not the same length. And so I'm really frustrated with that, but whatever. I think I'll keep messing with it, but yeah, it's you got to be really careful if you try and do this kind of thing. You gotta kind of find a way to keep your camera from being so just messing things up with that auto resizing and stuff. But anyway, on the board, it did look like the post-equinox curve was confirmed for today. And the other witness that came in today, this one's getting big, from Iowa. I've got the notes. They've got three or four. They got a family collecting, father, mother, son, daughter. And they had 10 hours of data today. It looks like post equinox curve. These are their notes, and I just wanted to show you the picture of their data set. So you can see there the red points are for today. You can see one point there at the beginning, and you can see this point here at the end. But as you kind of go through to the middle, they disappear under the edge because they're doing that bow shape. And then this is a picture without. This, I think, is their son's data, and he's got it the other way, so he's not covering it. And I think you can see some of these are lifting up. And there's his point on the line. And then the father, he had his on the first and the last, and by midday they're getting covered up. So I do think I'm going to be standing by to see if any other data comes in, like in the next couple days, any stragglers, and if there's any game changers, I might make another video. But if not, this is really looking pretty unanimous at this point. It's honestly, it's I've been so busy, I haven't had time to like look into it ahead of this seasonal transition and even to compare what happened to last year. But I can tell you, my impression was not that it was going to work out this way. I for some reason I got it stuck in my head. I thought we might be seeing it on the 19th, but this just seems. I mean, I see some very solid data sets in here, and I mean, I guess I didn't have a chance to collect data on the 19th, or I tried. I got half days on the 19th and the 18th. So I mean, I couldn't make the confirmation for myself, and I mean, I did see the post equinox curve on the 20th. Well, that should be the 21st. Oh, okay, I'm gonna change that. But I have to rely on what I'm seeing other people say, and I really wish I could have confirmed it for myself. But we're kind of at this point. I mean, I've looked at the data, and I trust the people who have collected this data. Like, it looks like they've tried very hard, and it looks like there's consistency in it. And doing everything that we know to do right, and this is what it seems to be coming out to be. So I'll think about it a little more, and maybe I'll try and figure out what is the difference from what happened last year to this year. But I mean, the thing is, if the witnesses are so clear, it's always a possibility that mistakes were made in the past. And there's been a lot of learning. I learn stuff every year too, but there seemed to be a big surge in data last spring, and in the past couple 2 to 3 years, a lot more people getting out with the sundials and learning. So I don't know, maybe looking at everything, there was a little bit of an experience and like trying to predict that pattern of where things would be. I don't know. But I just can't look back too much. We've put in the work this time around, and it looks pretty unanimous. So I'm thinking that's what it is this year. It kind of looks like the straight line was the 20th, I guess actually I'll speak briefly to it. From what I have seen, the first solid witness I see is South Africa. So unfortunately, I can't say anything about this part of the world here. I don't know if the Creators International dateline might have been, I just don't know where it could have been in here. But it looks like people around here, as far as the data I've seen, were the first to see the straight line, and everyone else saw it on the same Gregorian date up to, I think, the last major solid witnesses were in Utah and this one in Nevada, if it can be confirmed. So, I mean, it's only from. Sorry about that. Computer is just giving me trouble again. Just chops off the last 10% of each video I record. But I think I was about done. Unfortunately, yeah, I can only say it seems like the first people to cite the straight line this year were somewhere around South Africa time zones, and then the last confirmed solid witnesses were out to Nevada, potentially United States. So anywhere from going west and then all this area, I don't know, unfortunately. If anyone knows of any other witnesses, data that was collected, I mean, I was surprised to see this YouTube channel because it looks like there's a big following and people talking in the chat about sundial data. So it seems like maybe there's a whole nother big group that is collecting data out there, possibly. So I'd dig into these guys and see if there's a network of more sundial data, maybe. But yeah, that's all I can say for the moment. If you know of anyone else, please let me know. If I come across any updates, I'll put out an updated video maybe here in a couple days if anything new comes in. If not, I guess I have to say it looks like the majority, it was pretty unanimous this year, somehow, for whatever reason. So I guess that's all I'll say for now. Thank you everyone for your diligent efforts in collecting data this year and sharing it, and loving iron sharpening iron. And yeah, I pray as you continually seek your Creator's truths in love with a pure heart, that you would have blessed Holy Day season coming up, and a great New Year this year. So I guess stay tuned just in case, but otherwise, shalom, and may Abba bless you as you continually seek His truths in love with a pure heart.